So we're going to get to migraines with Seth. We're going to bring him in via Zoom. So Seth, morning to you, man.
Good morning, Stefan Reese, Synergy TV, and all of our viewers.
Nice one.
So, migraines this morning, migraines. So, of course, the usual, before we talk on a topic, you just get a little history of it. So, of course, migraine was first, the earliest cases was recorded back by the Egyptians again.
Okay.
Back in the time of 1200 BC. And then later on, you had Hippocrates, who was, known as the father of medicine.
Right.
Would have described it and describe a condition that preceded, which is that little flash of light that people get before and blurred vision, which is called auras today. And he also talked about the relief people would have gotten after vomiting when they suffer migraines. All right. So it existed a long time. So it's one of the oldest ailments that mankind have suffered with. All right. And then long time too, people used to try all kind of means in which to try to get rid of it. Some would cut their head and apply garlic. Some would try to bloodlet. Right.
When
so
you
there
say,
were
hold on.
Yeah.
When you say, did I just hear cut their head? Head or here?
No, not here. Would cut the skin and then might apply garlic and see if that would help to relieve it. Of course, these things didn't work. Also, some would put a hot iron on the head.
What?
Right? Yeah, look, in the past, back in those days, people tried all sorts of stuff to try to get a relief from pain and so forth. But the word migraine come from a Latin word called hemicrania.
Hemicrania.
Right? So hemicrania,
okay.
yeah, which means half skull. So it usually affects half the side of the brain. So you'll get pain on one half. All right. Headaches is slightly different because migraines is something that come with other symptoms: nauseous feeling, vomiting, sensitivity to sound, sensitivity to light. While a headache might just be a pain in the head, might be temporary and may not last for long, but migraine can last for even days at a time. All right. And some people get relief from staying in a dark room or trying to deprive themselves of their senses. All right. So it can be a crippling or debilitating something depending on the extent at which people suffer from it. But of course, we want to get into the pathogenesis of it, right? Because we want to understand why it happens. Of course, I could simply say nutritional deficiencies, which is usually what it comes down to. But let me share my screen. We're going to go to PubMed.
Okay.
My favorite site.
PubMed.
Right?
PubMed. Right.
So, National Library of Medicine says the role of nutrients in the pathogenesis and treatment of migraine headaches. A review. So, I want us to look at what it says here. It says migraine is a disabling neurovascular disease. It affects 6% of men and 18% of women worldwide. So here they list some deficiencies.
Just now. Hold on. Before you go further, why are women more likely to get a migraine than a man?
Right. And that is an interesting thing. One, hormonal stuff. So you have that. Women have their menstrual cycle. So they are more prone to fluctuations in hormonal levels. Of course, based on segments I've done before with such, that and all also comes back to nutritional stuff. And even something that you and all may have observed, even with yourself as well. When it comes to changes in diets, some people may not like to hear this, but you tend to see women fluctuate more based on what is pushed in the mainstream as what is healthier and healthier. Women would switch more. I remember they did a study in the US where they asked random men if they heard or if they were informed that if they continue to eat red meat, and that in the next 10 years they would die due to that if they would stop eating red meat. And 70% of the men says they would rather die. Right? So when it comes to changes in dietary habits, you will find more fluctuations among women. I did show that it was one of these organizations that pushed for veganism and stuff. They were telling women to withhold sex from men unless they turn to a plant-based diet, right? So women are the ones targeted more when it comes to these things, and because of that, they are more prone to certain illnesses in that sense. Now, there are other things that men are more prone to, like when it comes to lavish stuff that include things like drinking and alcohol, like when we look at gout. So when it comes to that sort of stuff, men are more prone to that. But when it comes to making changes that one assumed to be beneficial to health, that is more detrimental to health, but once it gives off the impression due to misinformation that it is beneficial to health, you find women would more gravitate to it.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
So that affects these hormonal changes. And as what we're going to see here, when we look at it here, we see that it mentions deficiencies in many nutrients, including magnesium, niacin, riboflavin, cobalamin, coenzyme Q10, carnitine, alpha lipolic acid, and vitamin D. So these things are associated with migraines, all right? Deficiencies in these. And then we also see here, which is also increase in homeocysteine levels. All right? So homeocysteine levels. Now, most people might say, okay, all right, an increase in homeocysteine levels would happen if you have a vitamin B deficiency. Right, and niacin, riboflavin, and cobalamin are vitamin Bs. Right, those are just the official name for them. Vitamin B3, B2, B12. Right, so those are vitamin Bs. So we see a correlation here between the two. So some people will say, supplement. Keep in mind, we have to understand that when it comes to supplementation, which is why I'm not an advocate for supplementation, right? People would supplement because, okay, this is going to give me a relief because because I have a deficiency. Okay. Not understanding, you have to identify what caused the deficiency in the first place.
Right, yeah.
If you do not identify the cause of the deficiency, you would never reverse your health issue because of the simple fact that when I say reverse, I mean you wouldn't permanently reverse it. You might get temporary relief because you're still not dealing with the root cause, right? You're still not dealing with the root cause. Now, we see vitamin D as one of the things that is associated with deficiency. Now, some people would say vitamin D, well, the number one source of that is sunlight. But keep in mind, vitamin D, and for those that remember when I did the segment earlier this year, well, the segments earlier this year on vitamins, vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin. Meaning, for the body to use vitamin D, you must have fat. So dietary fat plays an important role, but people have a negative association with fat due to misinformation, because I believe 2 years ago I also did segments showing the information with regards to the highest degree of study, systematic review and meta-analysis on saturated fats, and they concluded that saturated fats cannot cause harm to the human body.
Right.
So again, it comes back to proper nutrition. If your nutrition is off, if what you think is healthy, right, which a lot of people think how they're eating is healthy, but the reality is, if you think you're eating healthy and you're suffering with diseases, you have things like migraines and stuff that many people may not see as a disease, but it is classed as a disease, it means how you're eating isn't healthy regardless of what your personal opinion is. The physical manifestation of disease in your being is showing that you are eating in an unhealthy manner. And people first need to come to the realization of such in order for them to rectify the issue. Now, I could say, I know I am not eating in an unhealthy manner because I have no diseases or ailments. I do not get sick. I don't get the common cold. I don't get the flu. I don't get migraines. I don't get headaches. I don't get any of those things. So I can say, and even based on past blood tests and stuff that I have done, that I am eating healthy. All right? But many people cannot say that because they suffer from illnesses. And a lot of people would say things, you know, I don't get sick, I just get this or just get that. Once there is a just get this or just get that, you get sick. Right? You are sick. right? And we need to understand that. So we first have to step back from that space where we don't want to accept that what we are doing could be wrong or bad for us. Many people do not have an understanding of what they should or shouldn't be eating. Many people go about it by guess, and they are very unsure. That by guess and unsurety that people have is what I clarify at my clinic. I get you to understand what you should and shouldn't be eating, right?
Okay.
I get you to fully understand that. Why you should be eating this, why you should not be eating this, all right? Like I was explaining to someone on a consultation yesterday, right? And they were asking about, but this have this in it. And I explained to them, not because something has something in it means that you can access it. Means that the human digestive system is capable of accepting it, accessing it. You have things like cellulose and hemicellulose, which we cannot break down. And when you have nutrients that are behind those structures that we are incapable of digesting, right, we cannot accept or access the nutrients.
Yeah.
But people don't understand that. And this is why I did this segment showing the stuff with the medical world, because the medical world and many doctors also make that same mistake. This have this nutrient in it, therefore eat more of this. But this also come in with stuff that block those very same nutrients. It also come in with structures that prevent the body from accessing those nutrients. So when you recommend those things to people, it does more harm than good. It leads to more deficiencies. All right, and this is why at my clinic I can reverse diseases that the medical will have classed as incurable, because they are not open to certain information with regards to the biosynthesis or the pathogenesis of diseases through nutrients.
Yeah, because
right?
it's
through the diet.
It's kind of amazing here, just before we run out of time, that, you know, people tell you, right, that your body needs nutrients, right? A simple thing like, even yesterday I was discussing this with another client of ours here, Eden Heights Clinic, Dr. Thompson. And what he said was so true. When you are dehydrated, right? For me, when I'm dehydrated, it weakens my immune system. I am more likely to start sneezing and coughing because I have not consumed enough water. You understand? That's me.
Okay.
I experienced that. Right? So in other words, the body needs certain things to function. So what you consume, right? What you consume is how your body, you know, works. It's dependent on if your body's going to work correctly or incorrectly. So
yes,
it's amazing that, you know, a lot of the times when people are not well, before they look at nutrition, they look at the medication for the problem that they have. You understand what I'm saying? You understand where I'm coming from?
And that's because, you know have the saying, some people can't see further than their nose?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and that's what happens. So we look for a quick fix, which is just simply a symptom suppression.
Yeah.
But we don't look for long-term fixes.
Right.
We just look for short-term fix. All right, I want to feel good. I have a meeting today, so I want the migraine to go today so that I could get through that meeting. But I could come back after the meeting, right?
Yeah.
And that's the kind of
temporary
the mindset.
The other thing too said, the other thing too said, just before we think, I just want to bring this point here. We have about 2 minutes. Do people know what each food has in it? And what benefits that food? Like, what are the benefits of eating this because it contains ABCXYZ that is good for X, but ABCXYZ that is bad for Y? So
that
do
is
people
what
have
most
that
people
understanding?
No. People do not have that understanding. In fact, I remember I traveled in a taxi a day, and they had some conversations with the people in the taxi. I did in the front seat, I was listening, or was in the back seat, I was listening. And then I asked the guy, I say, do you know that plants have toxins in them?
Right.
What nonsense you're talking? Plants are safe. It have no toxins. And I left it right there because I realized, wow,
Okay.
The ignorance of the general population is not a little, you know. It's not a little.
Yeah.
People believe because something is natural that it is safe, but nature is the most dangerous thing out there. Try to go out and survive in nature and see what happens, right? Nature is the most dangerous thing. So people do not know. They might say, and this is the thing, they only see the pros in certain things, or this high and this, right? So let's take, for example, let's take tea. Let's take tea. Because you know it have all these teas now, chia tea, black tea, all these teas,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, tea is good for this and whatnot. Okay, tea have tannins and oxalates in it. It blocks at least 50% of iron. Oxalates, oh gosh, oxalates causes so much of problems. It causes digestive issues, autoimmune conditions, kidney stones, right? It causes breast cancer. But people go in and consume it and drink it down the line because they hear it has something good in it. Some people might call one particular compound in it that is good. And they'll go and pull up studies on that compound. Keep in mind, those studies extracted that compound alone and tested it. When you are taking your stuff, you're taking everything with it. Right? Not just that compound, but all the other compounds with it.
Yeah.
And they don't know. And this is what I show people. This is what I show people. Some people don't like to hear what I have to say, you know, right? And this is why, again, how much, and we trying still to get somebody to come and debate me, right?
Yeah.
We still trying. Why nobody up to the challenge? I want people to be up to the challenge, you know.
We put it out
right?
there, you know what I mean?
It's 4 years now. It's 4 years we're trying to get somebody to come on and you know?
But the reason why I asked you that, as we wrap up here this morning, the reason why I asked you that, right, is because, you know, funny enough, people will buy medication in the drugstore, right? So let's say I go to buy, let's just say a Panadol. Right. How many people actually look at the pack of a Panadol and read what it's made up of?
No, people not doing that.
And then even, they might watch the side effects, the potential side effects of using it, right? But what it's made up of, and then even if you read what it's made up of, what makes it a Panadol, right? Everything that they put together to make it a Panadol. How many people know what that is?
Right, and that's the truth. That's the thing. Most people can't even pronounce the ingredients in many things that they consume. Right? They can't even pronounce it.
Correct.
But they're consuming it.
But they consume it
without a second thought.
Yeah, they consume it.
99% of pharmaceutical uses petrochemicals, and like I would tell, would even say to my class, would you go to the gas station to go and drink gas? No. But most medications come from 99.99% of them have petroleum products in it.
Right.
Right? From natural gas and phenols and coal and whatnot in it. Right? So when it was, I think it was 2 years ago, I did a segment on acetaminophen in over 600 over-the-counter drugs. It's actually the second leading cause for liver transplant.
Okay.
But there's over 600 over-the-counter drugs and people using these things.
People using
right?
it, yeah.
And that comes from coal. It's an extract from coal. It's a phenol. Right?
Wow.
But again, you know, people looking for quick fixes. It's shortening their lifespan. It's reducing their quality of life. But some people don't want to make the changes that they need to make to their diet because they are also addicted to eating how they eat. And making those changes might be problematic. Other people don't even know what changes they have to make. And some people not even interested in finding out what changes they should be making. All right? But for those that are interested, that is what Setwire's Holistic Health Clinic is all about. It's a clinic that re-educates. You gain knowledge, and once that knowledge is applied, it changes your life for the better. All right? Once that knowledge is applied, it changes your life for the better.
So people are telling you what, if you want to contact Set, 7611952, that is 7611952 or 2793935. Those are the numbers you'll get him on. So you can check him out and get going with that re-education of nutrition today. And like we say, don't wait till it's too late and no longer reversible. Set, thanks a lot, man.
Thanks for having me.
All right.